Welcome back to FM Storey. After winning the quintuple last season, we now go into season 7. We've got a competition that we've never played in before in the European Super Cup, and at the end of the season, we're going to have the World Club Cup as well. We've made some pretty big additions in the summer. Some big name players coming towards the end of their career, just to add to the players that the young nucleus of the squad that we've already got. Before we get started, if you do enjoy the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Without further ado, let's get going. So, since winning the Champions League, the summer has been a bit of an eventful one. We've had all number of big clubs looking to unsettle our younger stars. We have also signed, as we said, a couple of players approaching the end of their career, just add a bit of experience to the team, who I think will do pretty well in this league. In terms of the incomings, I think we're probably done for the season or for the summer, unless anything pops up with an opportunity. But we will be looking at offloading some players because we do need to get the wage budget down and manageable. So there's a couple of players on big money who are probably not going to be near the first team, who need to just get moved on for their sakes and for ours as well. So as with the previous couple of seasons, the youth intake wasn't great, so we've gone and signed some younger players from around the world. But you can see probably there are a couple of big name players. So we've signed Heung-min Son at the end of his contract with Tottenham. I think he still has enough to offer, even just as an option, even as the rotation option for that left side of midfield. And then the big one, Harry Kane, just turned 35, 2-year contracts. Hopefully he's still got enough about him to score goals, and you would think he should be able to score goals in the league in Portugal, but also just a bit of experience, a bit of nous, and hopefully we can keep pushing on with him. In terms of the youngsters, so we signed Georgi Borisov, who's a 16-year-old centre half from Bulgaria, who looks like he's a really decent player for the future. We signed Nicodemo Del Prete, a Swiss midfielder, who hopefully is going to develop into a player to at least challenge for the first team. We signed Diego Cabrera, who can play behind the front man, but also can play wide, and at a push could possibly play in that central midfield role as well. Really good physicals and some good mentals, just needs to develop technicals, but he is only 18. We did sign him for 1.7 million, and he's now worth 16 to 24 million. Walter Bravo, a right back from Peru, played 11 times for the under-20s. We bought him for 1.4 million. We've already had 2 offers to take him on loan for the season, with a fee of 11 million in the summer. But we think he can be something a bit special. We obviously, as we'll see, we've kind of moved on some of our options at right back, or are going to move on some of our options at right back. So we do need cover there. So he's a potential to cover there. And then we've also signed Luis Arico, a Paraguayan international. He's played 6 times for Paraguay at the age of 19. And he hopefully, within a couple of seasons, could be really challenging for a starting spot in that first team. In terms of the outgoings, only obviously as we can see 2 players going out. So we've sold Gabriel Menino for 31 million to Aston Villa. We sold Philip Jorgensen to FC Copenhagen. Really, that was more. It was a bit of both wanted to go. Both were on relatively high salaries that would help us get the wage bill under control. In terms of the players that we've still got that we're probably looking to move on, Coppola's probably moving on. Hopefully we can get Marcus Edwards moved on. Ismail Assar will probably move on, although he's picked up an injury at the worst possible time. So that would also help getting some money off the wage bill as well. So as far as the season preview is concerned, this I think is the first season that we have been the favourites for the title, and favourites by quite some distance as well. Now, given that we've won the title the last 5 years and either been second or third favourites, I'm not sure that I'm that comfortable with that. But then if you look at the Media Dream 11, we've got 9 of the 11 with just Benjamin Sesko and Pepe making it into the Media Dream 11. It's an interesting one because I'm not sure that we're going to play 5'7" Dragan Simovic at centre half too many times this season. He is actually supposed to be a pretty decent centre half, but 5'7" I think would be a step too far as that's concerned. We reached the day of the UEFA Super Cup against Man United. It's been played in Stadion Maksimir, which is in Croatia. Poor stadium conditions, so quite why they've sent, in theory, 2 of the best teams in Europe, Champions League winners and Europa League winners, to a poor stadium to contest the Super Cup is anyone's guess, but we'll go with it. We have played 2 games so far this season. We played the Super Tacker against Porto, which was by and large a pretty dull game. There was very few highlights, certainly in the normal 90 minutes. There's a few more in extra time, but really not an awful lot happened. In the end, we won 5-4 on penalties. And then in our first league game, we were at home to Famalicão. Still just trying to find out where players' best positions are. According to everything, Harry Kane could play off the left, so we started him off the left in the first half. Wasn't great. We moved him through the middle in the second half, brought Son on, and they linked up for Harry Kane's goal. And Son got a goal of his own as well. So a pretty comfortable victory. We need to get off to a good start in the league because they've now rearranged the game. So we've got the Super Cup against Man United. Then we've got a game, I think, against Pacos de Ferreira. Then we've got a midweek game now, which wasn't there previously, against Porto, followed by a game at the weekend against Benfica. So it's we don't really have the time to bed new players into the system as much. But we're going to have to get off to a decent start with those 2 big league games coming up. So the team we've selected for the game against Man United, we've gone with Harry Kane through the middle, Son off the left. We've gone with we opted for Asimovic at left back, but I think what we'll see most of the season is Asimovic and Balde switching between one being in the team and one not being in the team. Guillaume Santos is in the team, but he's decided he wants to leave. He's handed in a transfer request and has agreed that 86 million is a decent asking price, so we'll hopefully find someone to sign him before the end of the summer and then get an unhappy player out of the club. Obviously, you can kind of see that is a pretty decent Man United team. You've got players that we've come across in the past, like João Mario at right back, Evan Nielsen up front, obviously our former goalkeeper, Alban Lafont in goal. So it's not going to be an easy game, but it'll be a good test to see where we stand at the start of the season. All right, Estevez down the right hand side. Can we get the ball in the box? Santos loses out to Caicedo, but wins it back. And you probably should have squared it to Harry Kane, but if you're not going to take the opportunity to pass it up to a teammate in a better position, you just got to make sure that you do score. He does well to get the ball back, drives inside, and then just slots it in the far corner. And we've got the head on that. Can we get out and block the cross coming in? No. We've cleared it again though. Right, they're starting to come into the game now a bit more pressure on us. Rashford looking, oh my god. Rashford was looking for Evan Nielsen. It should have been simple. Somehow the defender and the goalkeeper got themselves muddled up. He comes into Rashford on the edge of the area. He tries to play it in. The defender tries to cut it out. Plays it off the goalkeeper. And leaves Evan Nielsen with a tap in. Right. Can we play our way out of this? Not play ourselves back into it. Matias Fernandes driving forward, finds Arda Güler. Wide to Simovic. Sugo gives it away, looking for Simovic. We've got it back. Son into Harry Kane. And I think Kane one of them was probably offside. No. Basimovic does well to get back and win it. Matheus Fernandes finds Son, who squares it. Harry Kane, 12 yards out. She's always going to score that one. Right, they're breaking down that left-hand side again. Okay, Cedo's cross is headed clear, but only as far as João Mario, and Rashford heads home. We've allowed them to force us back far too much. It's not the greatest header clear. And then Estevez doesn't challenge Rashford at all at the back post. Right, we've got a free kick on the edge of the box here. Krastev going to step up. And he's hit the post. Oh no, the keeper must have saved it. It must have been the angle. It looked like it had hit the post. Defending's been the strength of this team in the last year. And we're just getting torn apart all over the place. We're losing headers in the air and then getting dragged out of position for them to run in behind us. Ruel onto Koruas. Can we get the ball in the box? Kane. And that's what he's there for. That ability to put the ball in the back of the net. And that is so far against the run of play. Pretty undeserved, but we'll take it. We're back in front with 20 minutes left to play. Right, Fernandes with a corner, and it's headed clear at the near post. Thiago Thomas just doesn't track it, but he's got it back. Nianzou and Ruol are back. Krastev, Matheus Fernandes. Oh, and Lafont turns it behind for another corner. Fernandes with the corner to the back post, looking for Nianzou. Oh, that rippled the top of the net. And there we go. Another trophy. Second European trophy of the save. Second trophy of the season, although both of those trophies this season so far, the Super Tacker and the Super Cup, both very much glorified friendlies, but we'll take them. We need to be much better defensively when we come up in those games against Porto and Benfica that are coming up shortly. But it's a good starting point to the season. Away at Pacos de Ferreira in the league. And bearing in mind that we've had a couple of games already this season, it was still early on. We had big games coming up against Porto and Benfica. We went in with a bit of a pretty much fully rotated team, and basically nothing happened in the first half. We got a goal just after the hour with Koruas. They equalised, and then pretty much nothing else happened in the game after that. We then went away to Porto in the league, and in the end, we're pretty lucky to come away with a draw. We created a load of chances, just didn't take any of them. Didn't put very many of them on target, and in the end, neither team really did anywhere near enough to score a goal. So, after a couple of lacklustre performances, we thought about going back to playing a formation with two up top, to try and get the best out of Harry Kane and see what we could produce. We lasted 40 minutes with this formation against Benfica before Alejandro Balde got sent off for a stupid tackle. And in the second half, Benfica scores through Patrick Schick, and we just didn't create enough chances to be able to get ourselves back in front, or get ourselves back level even. And by this point, we've already dropped 2 points against Porto. We've now dropped 3 points against Benfica. Not exactly the best start to the season. We were then at home to Maritimo. Better performance, but obviously playing teams nowhere near the quality of the teams that we'd played in the previous couple of games. I picked up a 4-0 victory, 4 goals in the first half from 2 from Kane, 1 from Son, 1 from Arda, all the front three sort of firing in that game. And basically, everyone performing. It was a much better performance than either of the games. Well, any of the games since the Man United game. That game against Paços de Ferreira, the Porto one, or the Benfica one. We then went away to Braga in the league and got off to a great start with a penalty from Guilherme Santos before he was shown a straight red card. We then doubled the lead with a goal from Thiago Thomas. We had a goal disallowed in the first half as well. Not an awful lot happened in the second half, but Thiago Thomas picked up a second at the end to give us the 3-0 victory. We then went away to Anfield in the Champions League and were basically undone by 2 corners. First corner, Declan Rice header at the back post. The keeper kept it out, but in keeping it out, he presented Declan Rice with a tap-in. We were back on level terms reasonably quickly. We were never really comfortable in the game. We never really created an awful lot. And then in the second half, Declan Rice got a free header at the back post from a corner. And that was the end of the game, and we lost 2-1. We then went away to Rio Ave in the We then went away to Rio Ave in the first game of the Allianz Cup group stage and got off to a decent start. Krastev scored early. Korowas doubled the lead. He added a second and a third for us early on in the second half. They pulled a goal back. We immediately went up the other end and restored the 3-goal advantage at that point. And then they pulled another goal back, but we ended up running out comfortable 4-2 victors. And then we went away to Portimonense in the league, and they really didn't create anything of any real note. Harry Kane picked up an injury in the first half. He damaged his ankle ligament, so he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Korowas in the end picked up the goal for us in the second half, but there's a concern about the lack of goals we're scoring from the chances, and actually in some games there's a real concern about the number of chances that we're creating. So things are not going particularly well. We're not playing very well at all. And as you can see from the league, although we are in second place, having lost a game and drawn 2, we're already 7 points behind Benfica, who haven't lost a game yet this season. So we're going to need to actually put a decent run together and then hope that when they come up against the likes of Porto, that they drop points there, and you've got to hope that we can beat them in the away game as well in the second half of the season, because otherwise we're going to really struggle to get back into challenging for the title. Obviously, since the Man United game, the transfer window's closed as well. We've not had any more incomings to the side. We have had quite a few outgoings. We sold Jonathan Cownder to Bayer Leverkusen. We sold Afonso Moreira to Al Nassr. We sold Ismail Assar to Shakhtar. We've sent Chamiti out on loan to Atalanta. Bruno Mendes has gone out on loan to PSV. Marcus Edwards has gone on loan to Valencia because he wanted out and no one wanted him. We sent Vasquez out on loan to Leipzig. And we've sold Sabotic to West Ham. So in the end, we've made 83 million in that transfer window between what we've bought and what we've sold. And we've obviously got the wage budget under control. Now we've just got to hope that the squad that we're left with is good enough to get us back into challenging for the title. Going again into the game against Juventus, with how things have been, we're trying a slightly different formation. We're going to try 2 up top with Thiago Thomas and Korowas, with Gula and Son wide, and Santos and Asugo in defensive midfield roles. We do have an injury to Tanguy Nianzou, so we're going to try Simovic in the centre of defence because apparently he is able to play there. The fact that he's short is going to be a problem, perhaps. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, we've created absolutely nothing so far. Santos, Arda, back to Riwalt, Asugo to Son, Thiago Thomas is through. I mean, it's only our second shot. It's our first real decent chance by the looks of things, because that first shot was a 0.05 XG. Hugo picks the ball up onto Son, who cuts inside, plays it in between the left back and the centre half. Thomas takes a touch, settles himself down, and then smashes it past the keeper. Right, Concalo says with a free kick, Ruwal into a Sugo. Koruas to Son, looking for Thiago Thomas again. Let's come back to Son. And that's 2-0. 2 shots on target, 2 goals. And perhaps this change in formation might work. I mean, that one, really, it's their poor defending that's got us the chance. But in the end, that was a pretty decent first half. We do have a few concerns fitness-wise, so we may not be able to may not be able to keep that formation going in the second half. But let's have a look and see what we've got. We've made some pretty significant personnel changes just to get some fit players onto the pitch. Baldi's into the box here. He's moved forward to the left-hand side, attacking role. Krastev with a corner. Been cleared. And in the end, we've run out 2-0 victors. Pretty comfortable in that second half. They had a couple of chances very early on before we scored. But yeah, that was a much better performance than we've been putting in recently, especially in the league. Now we just got to figure out whether it was the formation or whether Juventus just maybe aren't that great, and then we'll probably know where to go from there. And that's the end of this episode. Not the best start to the league that we would have hoped for. That draw against Porto, the defeat against Benfica, and even the draw against Paços de Ferreira. Really, we should be doing much better than that. We have managed to rebound a bit. We're in a bit of decent form now that we've come to the end of the episode. But we really need to push on in the next episode and really put together some back-to-back league wins in the league and start to apply some pressure to Benfica again. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.